everybody, how's it going? It's the Daily Shooter, and today I want to discuss a topic that has been brought up a lot ever since the new California assault weapons ban took place. And to be honest with you, I think this is going to be a topic of discussion for the foreseeable future until either the assault weapons ban is lifted or there's some type of modification to the ban itself. And that is the topic of whether or not to go with a full-featured rifle that has a mag lock on it or to go with a rifle that is, quote-unquote featureless, okay? Now, this is a topic that I was kind of on the fence about when the laws were first kind of introduced, or when the bills were first introduced. I wasn't sure, do you go with a full-featured rifle and just have some type of mag lock, or do you go with that featureless? And I really didn't know which way I would fall on that. However, now I've had the chance to test out multiple different devices from multiple different companies that allow you to lock your magazine and open your receiver in multiple different ways. And I've also had some trigger time behind a completely featureless rifle. So I feel like I can give you my opinion now on which side of the fence that I landed and why. And the why is extremely important, I think, an extremely important part of this discussion. If not the most important part of this discussion is why I landed there. Okay, so to just start it off, let me tell you which side of the fence I landed on. I landed on the featureless side, and I'll tell you why. I landed on the featureless side because on the full-featured but mag-locked side, I ran into a problem every single time. And it didn't matter which device I was using. It didn't matter if I was using probably the best device that's on the market right now, which is the cross armory devices that allow you to really quickly open the upper and lower receiver and automatically drop the magazine out. Or if you're using the Patriot mag lock, where you have to open the upper and lower receiver and then hit their magazine release and then drop the mag out. They all revolve around opening the upper and lower receiver. That's the crux. That's the part that is the but, okay? That's the part that all of the other stuff revolves around. So it doesn't matter what device you have to open it. It doesn't matter what device you have to release the magazine. You have to open that upper and lower receiver. And here's my problem. You have a double feed, you have a misfeed, you have some type of failure, okay, that locks the bolt back in a position where it's halfway into the buffer tube and halfway into the upper receiver. You have a problem because now you cannot open the upper and lower receiver in order to release the magazine with that bolt stuck in that situation. So your standard malfunction where you could rip the magazine out, charge the firearm, get rid of that round, reload the firearm, and get ready to go has now been completely eliminated. Once you have a malfunction that could be cleared in just a matter of seconds now turns into a several minute magazine change. And that is no joke. Anybody that's used these devices that's had that happen to them will stand behind me 100%. The second you have a malfunction and you have a mag-locked device on your rifle, you now have a 5-minute mag change. And I'm kind of exaggerating there. You could probably get it done faster if you have a screwdriver or something on you. But typically, you're going to have to go back to the bench and you're going to have to take care of whatever it is that you need to take care of because you can't get your magazine out. And that's a problem. And you can't get the upper and lower to separate. So there's another problem. Now, I do watch a channel, Gun and Wild 1. He's a great guy here, also in the state of California. He did show a way where on his device you could press the pivot pin, take that pivot pin off, and he was able to get enough space between the upper and lower where he could release the magazine. However, on the rifles that I've used mine on, I can't get enough. I pop that pin out, and I just can't get the upper and lower receiver to separate enough in order to drop my magazine. So that's it. I mean, you could be killed if you depend on that rifle for your life. Then locking that upper and lower together potentially in that type of a situation will get you killed because you now have nothing, okay? You have nothing. And that is where I have a big problem with that. So unless your rifle is just going to be an absolute range toy, it's something you take to the range, you have a good time with your buddies, and you don't really care if you have a malfunction. You got to go to the, sit down at the table, take care of the malfunction, use a tool to get everything squared away, and then go back out and start shooting again, fine. But to me, that's not even suitable for competition. I mean, if you're in a competition, you have a malfunction, you've trained on how fast you can get rid of that malfunction and continue to compete, right? But if you have a 5-minute malfunction, you don't even have a chance to get back into the competition. You're out completely. So to me, it is not a viable option for competition. It's not a viable option if you're going to use that as a defensive rifle to protect your life. So that leads me on to the featureless. There's a lot of misconceptions about featureless out there, about what you can and what you can't have. And to be honest with you, featureless is a great way to go to avoid registration, which is compliance. Okay, these rifles aren't compliant. Registration is compliant. The new law that came down didn't say you had to make your rifle featureless, or the new law didn't say you had to add a mag lock. those are solutions to the problem of registration. So featureless rifle, which everybody thinks is really horrible, isn't. It's not, you know, it's not neutered, okay? The rifle still does what it's intended to do, but it kind of allows you to have everything that you want and even something a little bit extra. So featureless rifle, okay, let me tell you what you can and can't have. On a featureless rifle, you can actually have a compensator. You don't have to have a crowned barrel or a cut-off barrel or something where you just, you know, have a thread protector on there. You can still have a compensator. You can't have a flashlighter, but you can still have a compensator. You have your free float handguard. You can have an angled foregrip. So maybe not a vertical foregrip, but you can still have something angled, like the Magpul angled foregrip or some of the Night Strike angled foregrips, if that's a direction that you want to go with. So you can still have that, not a problem whatsoever. Moving back on the firearm, you can still have all the optics that you want. You can still have all the stuff on top, you know, your flip down, your red dots, all that stuff that you want to have on there, not a big deal. That's not covered in the law, okay? So you bring back even further, here's the big part. On the rifle that is featureless, you can still have a standard magazine release, which means bang, 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 magazine, new magazine, bang, 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 bang. Okay, that's what you get to have. Going back, what can't you have? You cannot have a pistol grip. Okay, no big deal. So you have to hold your hand at a little bit different angle. That's training. Okay, that's just simply training. You hold your hand at a different angle. It's a little bit weird at first. I had a little bit of a hard time with it. It's a little bit difficult to reach the safety on some of them, so get an ambi safety and train with that. But it's super fast, it's easy, standard mag release, you're good to go. You can't have an adjustable buttstock. Okay, you know, I like an adjustable buttstock, to be honest with you, and this is just being completely honest. You'll see it in all my videos. I run all of my buttstocks completely out all the time. I like a longer length of pull, so you can get some stocks that are out there. You can either get a completely fixed stock and just put put a pistol grip that has some type of fin on it, which is something that I don't really like a lot, you know, because you can't get your thumb around, or you can get a different type of grip that actually is part of the stock, like the Thorson stuff, and you can still get your thumb around, get a good purchase on the firearm, and that's part of the stock. You can even get cheek riser and stuff for the buffer tube. People are coming out with these different devices that will allow you basically to add all this stuff to an existing rifle, have your cheek rest, which is adjustable, you know, have your buttstock, maybe it's not adjustable, but it's still a decent length of pull, I think. And then you could change whatever grip you want in order to have it angled so that it's not a, you know, quote unquote pistol grip. I mean, it's still a viable option. You have a rifle that'll go bang. You can open the upper and lower receiver. You can drop the bolt whenever you want. It's still a rifle. You know, a lot of people say, well, why don't you just go with an Mini 14? Or why don't you go with an SKS? Other great options, absolutely. But if you want the newest stuff, if you want the most accurate barrel, you want a match barrel, you still want the modularity of an AR15 with a full Picatinny rail that goes all the way up to the front, so you get the longer sight radius and all that stuff that you get with the AR15, getting one that I don't think it's neutered. I mean, the receiver and the barrel and everything else is still 100% functional. The mag release is 100% functional. You just have fixed buttstock and you can't have vertical foregrip. But that is the direction that I would go, because you have a fully functioning AR-15 that you can trust your life to. You know, you can still drop that mag, do everything that you want to do, and trust your life to it. You cannot do that with a mag-locked rifle. Now, as many companies and people I know I'm pissing off by making this video who've invested a lot of their time and money into it, you know what? My opinion will not change unless somebody invents a way to open that upper and lower receiver with the bolt carrier group in the rear position. If you do that, if you can come up with some device that will allow you to lock that in the back and still open the upper and lower to remove that magazine, then my opinion will change, but not until then. So anyway, sorry for the long video, but I think this is a very important topic, and I want to get my opinion out there so that you guys at least can think for yourself and make your own decisions. Does this mean I'm not going to be reviewing any of the maglock stuff anymore? No, I'm still going to review it, because some people out there might be interested, and it is up to you to make the decisions, not up to me to make the decisions for you, just for me to inform you of my experiences. So anyway, thank you all very much for watching. Please like, subscribe. Have a great day.